Good afternoon and welcome to Tria Rink at Treasure Island Center in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota, in the city of St. Paul and the county of Ramsey for the 9th Annual Northland Cup, benefiting the St. Paul Ramsey County Domestic Violence Intervention Project.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'm Kris Fredson, here with Darren Tobolt. And Darren, it's hard to believe we're in the second year of a global pandemic, 60 minutes of hockey, this intense rivalry between the city of St. Paul and Ramsey County. We'll have to wait for one more year, but today we have a shootout.
So yes, the pandemic rules will be that each team has an equal number of shooters for 1 minute taking shots from the blue line, and at the end we'll tally all of those up, and whoever scores the most goals will win this year's Northland Cup hockey stick. Okay, let's send it down to the third member of our team, Bridget Haney.
Thanks, Darren. We would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our City of St. Paul and Ramsey County businesses for donating to our silent auction. And now let's go to Shelley Klein, the Executive Director for SPIP, and hear from a survivor about the important work that SPIP does.
I was in a verbally and emotionally abusive relationship with my husband. We had 4 children. 3 of them were minors and 1 was an adult. And towards the last couple months before we were separated, things were just getting worse and worse. He was turning up the heat is a term, and another term, gaslighting. He was making me feel crazy, and he served me with an order for protection, claiming he got an order of protection against me, claiming that I had been hitting him in front of our children. And the courts, not that they believed him, but they acted on that. They act first, and they confirm later or investigate. And I was presented with an order for protection at my home. One of my children were home at this time, and told I needed to pack a bag and leave, and I wasn't allowed to. The order said I couldn't communicate with any of my minor children. And that sent me into a tailspin. Understandably, I was already being undermined significantly emotionally. I couldn't foresee a good future at this time, but I was kind of like stumbling around. I was at the courthouse, and I asking for what I don't recall, but somebody said, maybe you should check in. They pointed down the hall. Bridges of Safety might be able to help you. If you're so helpful, they sat me down, calmed me down. They got my story. They wanted to help me get an order for protection against my ex-husband, a counter one. They got it back, and they cheered with me. It was like I was supported and validated. Unfortunately, the tailspin I was in from being removed from my children and being unable to communicate with my children, and I didn't know how they were doing, what they were wondering, my oldest daughter was the only one, she was kind of communicating back and forth, but I couldn't even send them a message through my daughter. That would have been violating his order for protection. That's how strict it was. And unfortunately, I was left to my own devices. I did have a circle of friends, but it was New Year's weekend, and I slipped away from my circle, and I attempted suicide. Didn't complete it, but I was found in my car and brought to HCMC. I needed quite a bit of, I was in the ICU for a few days, and then I was transferred to the psych ward. And unfortunately, again, that didn't bode well for my situation and in fighting my ex-husband in this order for protection. And so what SPIP did for me, they were at my elbow that entire journey. I was kept ahead and through these channels, the channels that SPIP, the court system, and the police department were in communication, and they had their eyes on me. They had their eyes on my well-being, my safety, because when somebody's being isolated by their abuser, that's what one of the points of the abuser is, to make a person feel like there's nowhere they can turn, and this is a place that they can turn.
The St. Paul and Ramsey County Domestic Abuse Intervention Project, SPIP, serves over 6,400 victims of domestic violence and their children each year. Our services are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and when there's a domestic assault in the city of St. Paul, our advocates reach out either in person or by phone to bring our programs and services to the victims. We also provide crisis intervention, immediate needs. We act as a conduit to the legal system if the victim chooses, survivor, to work with the legal system for protection. And we try to address all the multiple needs a victim has when attempting to leave an abusive situation. We work with victims in finding or maintaining safe housing for themselves and their children, getting food, clothing, protective orders, transportation, the whole gamut of services that it takes to rebuild your life. And we also focus on support, that a victim survivor has the opportunity to begin healing and begin the healing with their children. Most of the victims we serve are in immediate crisis, and often we're told that when the victim hears the advocate's voice, when we reach out in the middle of the night or in the afternoon and talk to them about our services, often it is the first time that they felt safe and they weren't alone to begin taking those steps to move forward. Everything our agency does is confidential. Nobody is told to do anything that they don't want to do. We present options, and it is a victim survivor that makes those choices, and we support those choices. We also have an amazing, amazing staff that is bilingual, bicultural, understands the different communities that victims and survivors come from and the unique barriers they may face in trying to leave a situation. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when a victim attempts to leave an abusive situation, they're at a 75% increased risk of being murdered. So it's very, very important that they have the support of the police if they want it, that they have the support of the courts, they have the support of our community organizations and churches, and they have the 24-hour support of SPIP always. There's a whole web umbrella of services that are available to the victim the moment they call our crisis line. And it stays available for as long as they need us.
Thank you. What an important reminder of the work that SPIP does for our community. And now let's go on to the shootout. Back to you, Darren and Kris.
Thanks, Bridget. Up first on the ice will be Ramsey County Commissioner Victoria Reinhardt. I have to admit, I do have a favorite player in this game, and that is Commissioner Victoria Reinhardt, since she continues to let me be her assistant. I believe that Victoria Reinhardt has already scored more goals than she did last year, so let's see if she can finish strong here That was a solid showing for the first shooter for Ramsey County, Victoria Reinhardt, shooting 12 goals from the blue line.
Sounds like we're ready for County Attorney John Choi. The clock is starting. 3 in the net, 4 in the net. This is automatic. Wow. This is an impressive performance by Ramsey County Attorney John Choi.
He's clearly been practicing for this. They might need to find more St. Paul Firefighter Local 21 pucks for him to shoot.
John Choi scoring 27 goals for Ramsey County. All right, it looks like St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter III is lining up. His first 7 out of 8 go in. Shoots and he scores.
That is some good shooting by the mayor.
25 goals for St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter.
25 goals, that is a very strong start for St. Paul.
Now we're going to go down to St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter on the ice.
We do this just because we're having a good time for a good cause. SPIP has, this organization has done so much for our city, so much for our community, serves just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, serving so many families in our community. These multilingual families, low-income families, families of color, over 6,400 in the last year, and it's saving lives.
I am here in support of SPIP. I have been here from day one. It is incredibly important. We have served over 6,400 victims of domestic abuse, multicultural. We have grown so much, and one of the reasons that we've been able to do that is because of the donations that we get at this charity event. It's once a year, so I really hope people open up their pocketbooks and donate, because it is such an important, life-saving effort that we are doing here. So thank you.
First of all, this traditional game that we have played between the city and the county, it's really fun, but it's really for a really important purpose, which is to do everything that we can to stop domestic violence in our community, and supporting St. Paul Ramsey County Intervention Project that does such great work providing services to victims and also advocacy for positive changes within our criminal justice system, also working with police. As I think about the work that we've done around domestic violence for a really long time, we've made a lot of great progress, and a lot of that work here in this community has a lot to do with the work of the organization that we're trying to help today, which is St. Paul Ramsey County Intervention Project.
Looks like Dennis Gerhardstein from the Office of County Attorney John Choi is going to be up next for Ramsey County, and that St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter is going to be feeding them the pucks.
It looks like he's finding the center of the net.
And Dennis appears to be hitting his sweet spot here.
Dennis Gerhardstein with an impressive 34 goals.
All right, we got a minute on the clock for City of St. Paul's Treasurer Dan Solomon.
Dan has been very good at helping us keep this event going through these last couple years where we haven't had the in-person event, but we've had to sort of do the hard work of just going face to face with people and raising the money. And he puts his last couple goals in just to make a mark on that. That was 21 goals there for Dan Solomon.
Jane Prince, St. Paul City Council member from Ward 7.
Getting started here with a couple very clean shots right into the net. Council member Jane Prince, representing Ward 7, shoots 7 goals.
All right, we got a minute on the board for Ramsey County Board Chair Tristan Mattis Castillo. Most of her shots just going a bit right of the net.
Yeah. Well, now she's finding the net again. There we go. There's
Mattis Castillo scores.
Looks like 3 in a row. There we go. She's found the sweet spot. She is in the zone.
Obviously feeling positive about her performance out on the ice.
Yeah, I think Ramsey County took its shellacking to heart last year and are definitely bringing their A game here today. Tristan Mattis Castillo, County Chair, has scored 19 points. Let's go down to the ice to hear from participants about why they're here today.
You know, I support SPIP because it is a critical service in our community, helping families and victims of domestic violence in their scariest time of need. SPIP is there 24 hours a day for anyone who needs, regardless of language, culture, location in our city and our county. We have a great partner with SPIP, and that's why I'm here supporting, because we want to make sure victims are taken care of.
SPIP is one of the things that St. Paul can be most proud of. This organization, for as long as it's been around, has saved families and women and children. It's an international model for how we do this work. It's a partnership of law enforcement, social workers. It's everything that people are talking about now, but we've been doing it in St. Paul and Ramsey County since 1984.
This is so much fun to be here at this rink for this great occasion of raising funds for the St. Paul Intervention Project. And Ramsey County is so excited to be a partner with you and with St. Paul and doing this great work.
Well, this hockey game is particularly important because it's one way that we can help make sure that SPIP has enough money to do the essential services that they do for so many of the people, particularly women and children in our community. And one of the things that we didn't think about when we first started this game is how this game has helped promote what SPIP does to people across the county and the city in every department, from parks to fire to police, so that when people are in those scenarios, we know where to send people to that need help, especially in dire circumstances often.
Ramsey County Commissioner Mary Jo McGuire.
She's finding the target.
Commissioner McGuire, a lefty.
Oh, it's a lefty-lefty trade-off. Maybe that's why this is working so smooth. Commissioner Mary Jo McGuire put up 20 points. All right, we're getting ready for Councilmember Kris Tolbert.
And we are underway.
He's zipping them down the ice.
Now he just can't
He
miss.
is just a machine right now.
35 goals for St. Paul City Council member from Ward 3, Kris Tolbert. And
That
this
is
game
impressive.
is not out of reach for the city of St. Paul yet.
Adam Eust is shooting here. Adam Eust is a proud resident of Ward 2, but currently works for the people of Ward 3 as the legislative aide to Councilmember Tolbert.
Hughes shoots and scores.
He's got some zip on that puck.
Adam Hughes for the city of St. Paul.
Adam Eust scored 18 goals. Up next for the city of St. Paul is Bridget Haney. Shooting on figure skates.
She's a machine.
She's going to give Kris Tolbert a run.
And Bridget making this a close contest for the city of St. Paul.
Bridget scored 32.
Darren Tobalt leaving the booth, taking the ice to shoot for Ramsey County. He's scored his first 3 shots, 4. Oh, that was unfortunate. Shoots, scores, and I think St. Paul might have pulled this off. Darren Tobalt coming up just short, but we'll wait for the tally. Darren Tobalt with 16 goals, and the tradition continues in support of the good work of St. Paul, Ramsey County Domestic Violence Intervention Project. Thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
If you're a victim of domestic abuse, SPIP is here to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our services are free and confidential. You will be believed, treated kindly, have control of all of your decisions, and receive the help that you deserve. Please call us at 651-645-2824. You are not alone.
Như cái ấy đâu chỉ rõ, spend nó ba con ngọc lo xong mong tỏi nu, cha nu the ý tia, so ya cái ba là nó bây giờ bố đã thì tự chỉ khen tiếng bao, bây giờ chân co thêm quá cái ba chỉ nó cho con, bố đã bây giờ trâu chỉ ý, trâu bao chỉ, ở ý off lo, chỉ cái năng sử bây giờ ba con việc họ phải ba tao.
Assalamu alaikum. Hatatay hatunin ka kugumaysanaya ang naftayo absinisit. SPIP way ku caawini karaan. Hada 24 hours ay furan yihiin isniinta ilaa حدا ونصوّع كارتا at 651-645-2824. أذيك اللي هي متهيد أنا كاكو عامني كرنا.
نمي بوالا على كابلوبا هيبوخابو داماسوما سودا إلوسوكي سبيب ماسنا كيسيلوناري نويثو atau puthirani lo pertama sene me akalodo nataga klote pane tapa odi takuthu lo wa kenani na dot tulo masana pwedo tathu withawa neko odo asokomola akasoteta do negme bata masala akrodo nani lo withasu ko pa phe khuyeta luye ki khaki lui nato o the dago ba.
Si es una víctima de abuso doméstico, SPEP está aquí para ayudarle a las 24 horas del día, cada día de la semana. Todos nuestros servicios que ofrecemos son gratuitos y confidenciales. Se le creerá, se le tratará con amabilidad, tendrá el control de sus decisiones y recibirá la ayuda que se merece. Llámanos a las 651-645-2824. Usted no está sola.
Please call. We are here for you.